Alright, number 13, same type problem. So this one has two terms out front. Eight y cubed minus 64. Okay, so sometimes if you notice it has a coefficient, you might be able to factor out, but I would always check and see if those are perfect cubes before, and I believe they both are. So if you look at that list, 8 is a perfect cube, it's 2 cubes, and also 64 is a perfect cube, it's 4 cubes. Okay, so you can factor out, but you don't need to. We're just going to apply that formula. So I'm going to rewrite them so you can see them as cubes. This is 2 cubed y cubed minus 4 cubed. Alright, even though there's more than just 1 and 1, like it's not just like A and B, as long as they're cubed, the formula will still work. So that means I'm going to apply that formula. I'm going to drop the cubes, so it's going to be 2y up front. At the back is going to be 4. Same sign. Here's going to be opposite sign, and then always positive. So whatever you start with, same, opposite, always positive. Alright, you take the cubes off. You square this, so I have to square the 2 and the y. 2 squared is 4, and then y squared is y squared. So I get a 4 y squared. You always square the first term, multiply these two together. 4 times 2 is 8, so I get 8y in the middle. And then the last one, you square the last term. 4 times 4 is 16. So here's that factor form. We're going to set this equal to 0. We have to do quadratic formula here. So 2y minus 4 equals 0. Add 4. 2y equals positive 4. Divide by 2. And y equals 2. Over here, we're going to apply quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. Alright, so I'm going to plug it in, and then I'm going to compute a lot of this with a calculator. So plug in b, so it's going to be a negative 8 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so it's going to be 8 squared minus 4 times a, which is 4, times c, which is 16, all divided by 2 times 4. Alright, so I'm going to let the calculator compute all this in one swoop for me. I'm not putting in the square root, I'm just evaluating the numbers under the square root. Turn it on, second, quit, go back to my home screen. I can clear all that out. I'm going to type in 8 squared. Oh, wrong thing. 8 squared minus 4 times 4 times 16. So I get a negative 192 under the square root. So I have negative 8 plus or minus square root negative 192 all divided by 2 times 4, which is 8. Now I'm going to reduce the radical, so the 192. So it's going to be imaginary because it's a negative. And calculator will not do this part, so you got to be able to reduce the radical. It's even, so I can divide by 2, and 96. That's even, so I can divide by 2 again. And 45, 48. If I got a pair of 2s, I can bring a 2 out. This we can do, let's just say 4 times 12. And then let's break 12 down to 4 times 3. Now you can go all the way to primes, but if you can find pairs that are bigger, that'll save you some work. So I saw that 4 and 4, that means I can bring a 4 out. So I'll bring a 2 and a 4, you got to multiply them. So bringing a 2 and a 4 out, that would give us 8, and then the number that did not come out was 3, because those were all broken down. So I try to scratch them out so I know that they're not being used. We already broke them down. So 8, this will reduce to 8i, and then square root of 3. So we have negative 8 plus or minus 8i square root 3, all divided by 8. And then all 3 of these terms are divisible by 8. They all have to be, because the top is being divided by 8. So since we can divide them all by 8, we can simplify further. Divide by 8, that will give us a negative 1, plus or minus, divide by 8, that's just I square root of 3. So this is the lowest term. Negative 1 plus I squared of 3, and negative 1 minus I squared of 3. So one answer is 2. One answer is negative 1 plus I square root of 3. And then the other answer is negative 1 minus I square root of 3. Square root of 3. Double check, everything's plugged in, looks okay.